Few works in the history of art have the power to mesmerize like this one. Painted by Diego Velázquez around 1656, Las Meninas reaches a level of visual complexity that few paintings have ever matched. At first glance, it seems like a simple everyday scene at the court of King Philip IV. We're inside a room of the Royal Alcazar of Madrid, which Velázquez used as his studio. But that's just the beginning. The way this painting plays with perspective, reflections, and gazes turns the scene into a stunning exercise in how reality and illusion can merge within a work of art. Mirrors, paintings within paintings, figures staring directly at the viewer. The secrets hidden in this life-size composition are almost as fascinating as its masterful technique. In this video, we'll try to understand what this genius of painting wanted to tell us through one of his most complex works on every level. To the left of the painting, we see an artist holding brushes and a palette, working in front of a large canvas. Interestingly, the dimensions of that canvas, according to scholars, match exactly those of the very painting we're looking at, a monumental work over 3 meters tall. If you look closely, the canvas he's working on seems to be just another of the many rectangular paintings decorating the walls of the room. At first, it might seem like he's painting Las Meninas itself, perhaps to hang it among the others. But that can't be. He's clearly not looking at the figures beside him. What he's truly painting is hidden from us because it's right where we are. We stand in the position of his subject. The painting becomes a kind of mirror. It reveals an image and conceals it at the same time. That artist is Velázquez himself. He stands, slightly turned away from the canvas, his expression one of silent focus. He observes intently, giving nothing away. His steady gaze seems to hold the subject in place, and by doing so leaves it unresolved, open to interpretation. Already, the painting begins to embody what French philosopher Michel Foucault famously described in his essay on Las Meninas, a whole complex of uncertainties, exchanges, and feints where no gaze is stable. Next to the painter stands a group of figures, all belonging to the Spanish royal court. Our gaze is immediately drawn to the young girl at the center. She is illuminated by the light coming in from a nearby window, and the rest of the figures seem to be arranged around her. This is the Infanta Margarita Teresa, who was 5 years old at the time. She stands confidently at the heart of the scene, naturally enjoying the attention directed toward her. Years later, the crown would pass to her younger brother, Charles II, born about 5 years after this painting was completed. Suffering from poor health, Charles would become the last king of the Habsburg dynasty. To the right of the Infanta, we see a young girl kneeling. Her lady-in-waiting, Doña María Agustina Sarmiento de Sotomayor, offering her a small clay cup on a tray. On the other side of the princess stands another lady-in-waiting, Doña Isabel de Velasco, captured mid-curtsy in honor of the Infanta. The two kneeling figures form a subtle triangular structure that adds balance and solidity to the composition while framing the central elements of the scene. Other figures have also been identified. In the background, we see Doña Marcela de Ulloa, another court lady, conversing with the guardadamas, a royal guard assigned to the queen's entourage. Closer to the front, 2 court dwarfs are present. Mari Barbola, an Austrian woman with achondroplasia, and the Italian Nicolas Pertusato, who playfully nudges a sleeping dog with his foot. At the back of the room, there are 2 key details that truly bring the painting to life. But before we continue with the analysis, I want to remind you that if you'd like to have this painting in your collection, it's now available in our catalogue. I invite you to check it out after watching this video and pick your favorite artwork to hang in your home. Shipping is completely free worldwide, and by purchasing from the store, you'll be supporting me so I can keep creating videos like this one. Now then, let's continue. At the center of the composition, just above the Infanta's head, there's a mirror. In it, we see the reflections of King Philip IV and his wife, Queen Mariana. Some have interpreted this as just another painting hanging on the wall, but the silver frame and the way it catches the light while the surrounding objects remain in shadow, make it quite clear that it's a reflective surface. Velázquez was highly esteemed by the king and deeply integrated into the royal household. According to his father-in-law, the artist was treated with incredible generosity and kindness by this great monarch, who would visit him almost daily to watch him paint in the studio he had in the royal gallery. Over more than 3 decades, Velázquez painted King Philip IV more than 30 times, capturing him at different stages of life, from youth to old age. These portraits were used both for official display at court and for diplomatic exchange. By the time he painted Las Meninas, Velázquez had already spent over 30 years in royal service. In a way, the mystery of the scene is resolved by the mirror. It tells us that the king and queen are being painted by their favorite artist, and during the session, their daughter and her entourage have come to visit. It's believed that this use of a mirror to suggest space beyond what's directly visible was inspired by Jan van Eyck's Arnolfini portrait, a work that was part of Philip IV's collection and likely familiar to Velázquez. In Van Eyck's composition, a small mirror on the back wall reflects 2 figures standing in the same space occupied by the viewer, a visual device that Velázquez echoes in his own mirrored perspective. What's striking about Las Meninas is how passive the mirror appears, especially considering it contains the images of the 2 most important people in the scene. No one looks into it. Unlike the traditional use of mirrors in art, where they often provoke interaction or introspection, here the mirror simply exists, quietly revealing something we would otherwise not see: the presence of 2 figures who aren't physically in the painting, but who are being watched by everyone else. It's a subtle, yet powerful detail that gives the entire composition its meaning. Next to the mirror, an open doorway reveals the silhouette of a man with one leg raised on a step, as if he's either entering or leaving the room. This figure has been identified as Don José Nieto Velázquez, the Queen's Chamberlain. Visually, his presence balances the mirror beside him. These 2 rectangles, the mirror and the doorway, have been deliberately placed side by side as complementary opposites. The mirror shows a dark space illuminated by the presence of the royal couple, while the doorway reveals a bright space framing a shadowed figure. The mirror opens the painting inward, extending it into the royal chamber, while the doorway opens it outward toward the world beyond. Once again, these ambiguities give the painting its fleeting, almost cinematic quality. These twin rectangles highlight the visual elusiveness of the scene, perhaps reminding us that within the realm of painting, everything depends on the artist's command of light, shadow, and focus. Considering all of this, it's no surprise that Las Meninas is regarded as one of the most remarkable and intriguing masterpieces in the history of Western art. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this painting in the comments, and if there's a detail I haven't mentioned, I'd be honored if you shared it. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.